Good evening and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation podcast live with me, your host, Owen James. The channel brings you your team every single day, guys, in what is just an amazing week. What is a massive week for a club with what is probably one of the most season-defining games of the week. Well, not the week, actually, of the season, isn't it? Yes. As we build up towards the Old Firm game on Sunday, a huge game for the club, massive game for the club. Evening, Stuart. How you doing, buddy? Good to have you here on board tonight with the channel. Yeah, massive. I think, we've got to, if we kind of really genuinely think about it, really genuinely consider this, this is probably the biggest Old Firm game in over a decade. It really genuinely is. Just absolutely massive, given the fact there is quite a lot riding on this game. I mean, that's what we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. We're going to really look ahead to that game. We're looking forward to what is upcoming on Sunday. Having a look at possible lineups that Philippe Clement may go with, and have a little look at all that surrounds the game as we think. And obviously tonight, what is really important, as it's only me tonight, is your thoughts, your opinions, your comments tonight. Now, I did try and get some people on tonight, but Kia is busy. Damien is doing pop star things. Hope you've all checked out Damien's new song, Blue is Sea. Absolutely fantastic. And Lorah is very busy down in London with her son. We wish Lorah and her son all the very best here on the channel, guys. Just like I said, this is a massive week. This is just ginormous as we build towards this Old Firm game. Obviously, we're all waiting with eager anticipation until Philippe Clement speaks to the media as regards fitness, as regards health of the players, and as regards who is available, who is not available for Sunday's huge, massive game. Right, let's get to it. Let's have a look at some comments in the live chat. Philippe, the boss, is here. Good evening, Owen, and everyone else. Good evening to Philippe. One of our top contributors, Blue Nose John, is here. Good evening, Owen, and on the Teddy Bears in the chat. Evening, my friend. Full Celtic fans on Clyde giving it gonna win easy, says Bobby Finley. Well, we know they're over cocky and confident. Good evening, Owen, and all the troops. Stuart says we'll be mate after a win on Sunday. Dave J is here, says first port I've caught in ages. Dave, welcome, buddy. Leitano, hiya, Leitano. How you doing? Did you see that this is Ibrox had Callum Beattie on? Well, that's great, isn't it? Callum Beattie is a superstar. Love Callum Beattie. I've been trying to get Callum Beattie on here for ages, but not really getting anywhere with that one. Interesting that he went on This Is Ibrox. Oh, well, just perhaps, I don't know. I'm starting to get the impression that I am probably one of the most hated people in Rangers YouTubing. I really am. Seems to be the overwhelming feeling, I think. Anyway, guys, just a quick highlight, thing for you tonight. This is our new Twitter account, our new X account, just been launched tonight at Rangers Nation 08. Obviously 08 in tribute to my favourite all-time Rangers player, Paul Gascoigne. So if you're on X or on Twitter, please go and follow the account, Glasgow Rangers Nation, at Rangers Nation 08. Please go and find that and obviously follow it. You be, obviously there to spread news and spread stories about videos upcoming. Hi, Owen. Hi, Stephen. How are you doing? Can you wait to see Brendan and see the Rangers coming? No, yet. No, you do a good. Thank you very much, Jobby. It's fine, mate. I haven't got no problems with it. If the people don't like me, they don't like me. I don't give a shit anymore. I really have reached the point in life where I don't care what people think of me. Genuinely don't. Okay, let's talk all things Glasgow Rangers. Let's talk all things Sunday's game, and obviously build up towards that game. Like I said, biggest game in a Rangers derby game, in Rangers Celtic Old Firm. That's right, Celtic fans. It's still the Old Firm, despite what you may say. It is, at the end of the day, the biggest in over a decade. We have got to go out there, and it's going to be, for me, not just as I mentioned on the video on Monday, not just a physical battle, but a mental battle for this team. For too long now, since season when we won 55, it's kind of been a mental hurdle that we've hit and fallen over every time we've come across it. Celtic have kind of had a bit of a ownership on us, a bit of a possession over us, haven't they, in recent seasons? And our record against them is really, really genuinely not very good at all. Big Phil says, Sunday there can be no one hiding. in the team. They should know they don't leave that field unless you have a win and 3 points. But yeah, it's a point, Philly. We've got to go out there and they've got to leave the pitch having left nothing on that pitch. That is for me an absolute, must for Rangers on Sunday. It cannot be a game where we come off and we have regrets, or we've done things and we've made mistakes that have really let our team down. Like I said, in recent times, our record against them is not really the best. You look back through the games in recent times. Obviously, earlier this season, we lost 2-1 to them at Parkhead. We've lost 1-0 to them at Ibrox. Previous to that, we won obviously that pretty meaningless game at the end of last season, 3-0. Let me share this with you. What have we got here? Owen, we turn up, we make no mistake, and we take 3 points and the league, in my opinion. Stuart, I certainly hope so. We're going to obviously talk about all things that. Thank you very much, George. That means a lot. Thank you very much. Let's have a quick look, shall we? This is what I'm looking at. Let me share it with you. Let me just give you the results breakdowns, and let me just sort of illustrate what I'm talking about here when I talk about the fact we haven't got the best of records against them in recent times. I don't know why it's not sharing. There we go. So, in recent times, if you can see that a little bit better now. Is that better? Slightly better. Okay, so in recent times, so we've got the game at Parkhead earlier this season, which we lost 2-1. We've got a 1-0 defeat. We did win that pretty well. I'm not going to say meaningless, because let's face it, no Old Firm game is ever meaningless. Everything is riding on Old Firm games. At the end of the day, it's bragging rights. It's the ability to go into work Monday morning with your head held high, and not take the crap that you have to take off the Tims. Previous to that, SFA Cup semi-final, we lost 1-0 to them. We lost 3-2 to them at Parkhead. In that game when James Tavernier scored that brilliant free kick. We lost 2-1 to them in the League Cup final when Michael Beale made a huge selection gaffe. There was a 2-2 draw around New Year, Michael Beale's first game against them at Ibrox, a 4-0 reverse at Parkhead, a 1-1 draw with them in 21-22, a 2-1 win, obviously semi-final-wise, against them in the Scottish FA Cup, where we went on to win that, obviously, against Hearts. Previous to that, a 2-1 defeat in the Premiership at home, an away 3-0 defeat. And then you go out to season 21-22. We've got a 1-0 win for Rangers, a 4-1 win for Rangers, a 2-0 in the Cup, a 1-1 draw, a 1-0, a 2. So before that, there was really a track record where it was starting to turn and we were dominating. But you can see in recent times, our results against them have been exceptionally bad. Really, really bad. So look, this is something we need to turn around. This is why I've talked about it being a mental hurdle for the club, a huge, huge hurdle for the club. And this is what we've got to overcome, this really bad record that we've got in recent times against them. It almost seems like no matter what happens against Aberdeen, against Hearts, against Hibs, against St Mirren, St Johnstone, it all kind of falls apart when we come to playing that team from across our city. It kind of just, something breaks down, something goes wrong. And Sunday, it's not just going to be about winning the physical battle. It's going to be about winning the mental battle, overcoming the mental block. So if you look at your comments here, we've got Cantwell to run riot and Sterling will bully them. I mean, Dave, I think you make a fabulous point here. Cantwell has got to have a dominant game on Sunday, hasn't he? He really does. A lot is going to have to go through him. He's going to have to lead the press. He's going to have to run the game. He's going to have to be the main man on Sunday. If we are to be successful, Todd Cantwell needs to play well. If Cantwell doesn't play well, then I think, we could genuinely struggle. And what kind of gets me, Dave, is the fact that he hasn't really turned up in many Old Firm games of recent times. He needs to turn up in this one. Stephen, there you go. How are you doing, Stephen? Good to have you here. Gallant, how you doing, buddy? Good to hear from you. Haven't heard from you in a while. Jimmy Duff, the only thing that should be left on the park are Timmy tears. I certainly hope so, Jimmy. We never deserved to get beat last time. We certainly didn't. We had the better XG in that game. It was just some very bad refereeing decisions. Cantwell has to be better than the last two Old Firm, not done much against him. Yeah, which is what I was just saying, Stuart. He does need a huge improvement in this next game. Thank you very much, Ewan. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you, Philippe, as well. I do like CJ Novo. Yeah, I love a bit of CJ. Brenda has been a lucky manager against us. Big Phil will see him off their premises. I hope so, John. I certainly hope so. On Sunday, we need everybody at 100% and awake. We certainly do. Yeah, I've struggled to make the lives, but I watch all the videos back every single day. Love your content. Thank you very much, Gallant. That's absolutely fantastic to hear. Guys, obviously, if you're watching this, please smash the like. It does obviously help videos to grow. And if you've not yet subscribed, please help us to continue to grow. Now, we go into Sunday's game. And if we look at Rangers form going into Sunday's game against Celtic, and we compare a little bit, them against us, and where we're at in terms of those games. I mean, you look at the table. The table currently sits, we're second in the table. We've won 4 of our last 5. They've won 4 of their last 5. That one defeat obviously coming against Motherwell at Ibrox, which is a bit of a shock. Last time out, we beat Hibs 3-1. Our form in the league is pretty decent, as is theirs at the moment. They do seem to have turned it round a little bit, but their performances have not been great. And I do feel that this team is hit there for the taking. It really is. It is a Celtic team that is not the force it was under Ange Postecoglou. It is not the machine that it once was. Is a team that, for me, is beatable. And I think, if we cannot put them to bed, if we cannot beat them in this game, it is really quite worrying, in terms of where they're at and where we're at. Now, look, Brendan Rodgers has got a very, very good record in all firm games, pretty solid record. Big Phil obviously has only played that one so far, but it's time for Phil to kind of start to write the record books, to write his own old firm history, isn't it? And he's in a great place to do that. Yes, injuries are not helping, but we're starting to get players back, and that's a big bonus. CJ and I says, I wish Sunday would come already. I'm shitting it with the waiting. I think we're all very nervous, CJ, going into Sunday's game. Very much so indeed. We look at their comparative records this season. They've played 31, 1 game more than us, hence the fact they've got more points than us at this stage, but only 1 point more. 25 wins for them, 5 draws, 3 defeats. They've scored 74, conceded 23, got a plus 51 goal difference and 74 points. We're second. We've played 30, 1 game less. 24 wins, 1 more win than them. Only 1 draw, which is pretty surreal in the season. I think that was the away game at Pittodrie, the 1-1, and a 5 defeats this season. 67 goals scored, which is 7 less than them, but we have conceded 6 less than them in 17 goals this season. A lot of that obviously been down to the form of Jack Butland. Gallant says in the live chat, the pressure is more on us than it is Celtic. A draw suits them, but it's a must win for us. And we've got a comment here as well coming up in a minute from Stephen. They are no better than us. I agree with you. So Gallant says this. I think this is a good point. They don't really need to. They don't need to win. A draw would suit them. It really genuinely would suit them. It maintains the status quo. It puts them in a position where, yes, okay, if we win our game in hand, we go 2 points against them, but they're probably banking on the fact that when we come to Parkhead again after the split, they can beat us. And that's probably what they're banking on. That's probably their strategy for winning the league now. Don't drop any more points, get a draw against Rangers at Ibrox, beat them at Parkhead, win the league. That's their strategy. That's probably going to be their long-term strategy. Blue Nose, I have heard that apparently that there is even talk in the media tonight, apparently on X. I was looking earlier on X of the game being moved. Apparently, now that is one thing that has been talked about. The possibility the game will be moved from Dens Park to a neutral ground because of the fact that, again, it is under risk of being postponed, and obviously with it being pre-split, and with the split coming up, they can't have any fixtures hanging over for any length of time because obviously they need to complete the split. They need to complete who's top 6, who's bottom 6, to be able to formulate those fixtures going forward. So yeah, there is a doubt, isn't there? There is a doubt. Philippe says fans have to make sure they do their part on Sunday as well and bring the noise. We can't have no negativity within the stands. I agree. Ibrox needs to be rocking. It needs to be like a European night for me. If we win on Sunday, I'm backing us to beat them at Sharkhead, says Dave J. You never know. Manny NY7 with his Hamburg symbol there says, hi, Owen Bud. Always insightful. We'll catch you after work. Okay, buddy, not a problem. The only thing is Brenda and the SFA have put the game in a state it could be made out to be corrupt. Whoever wins choice of the officials. I can feel stress how important it is for us to get the first goal, set the tone, get the fans going. Yeah, I think that's spot on, that Gallon. I think it is really important on Sunday that we get not only the first goal, mate, but we get a quick start, that we start the game fast, we start the game with intensity, we move the ball with a bit of speed, we move the ball with a bit of power, a bit of passion, and we really get after them. And I think, a couple of snapped in tackles from John Lundstrom, a couple of, real good quality, crunching tackles to get everyone going, and then obviously create some chances as well, get some opportunities to score, put them under pressure and put the ball in the net nice and early. That for me is an absolute must on Sunday, a huge must on Sunday. Going forward, I really do think that is absolutely ginormous in that game and really pushing it. Now look, we talk obviously about form coming into this game. We talk about CJ says get stuck into them and close them down quickly. They hate it. They do. And this is the one thing that's always got me, CJ, about Rangers playing Celtic, is that in the past, and I think the Michael Beale game at the start of the season really, kind of, for me, showed this to some degree, was the whole, we didn't play with an intensity. We didn't play with a speed, with a passion. You look at when Celtic struggle, when Celtic struggle, when they don't like it, to quote, I think, what was it, Corporal Jones from Dad's Army, which I don't think, you shouldn't really be doing these days, because obviously Dad's Army is banned on UK TV for being racist. What a disgrace. It is a case where they don't like it up them, do they? They don't like it up them, Mr. Mannering. They don't like it up them, Mr. Mannering. And I think that is very true. They don't like it up them. They don't like the pressure. They don't like, getting after them. And that's something we need to do. We need to get after them. We need to play with a pace and intensity and in-your-face kind of style. If we do that, then I can see them crumbling, falling apart. If you look at when teams have been successful against them this season, Hearts, for example, Killy away, playing in the Champions League, it's when teams have gone for them that they struggle. They fold like a cheap suit. They really do. If you sit off them, if you give them time on the ball, if you give them too much respect, they'll hurt you, because that they have got some decent players. Kyogo, Matt O'Reilly, Hatate, if he's fit, Maeda, whatever he's called. They've got some Carl Vickers, they've got some pretty decent players, and who will hurt you if you give them time and space. And this is what we've got to do. Get in their faces, get after them. Now, I would certainly make sure that someone sits on Callum McGregor on Sunday. Now, that for me is the perfect job for Dujon Sterling. I'd be and I know it'd be really harsh on Mohamed Diamande to not play him, because I think Diamande is a really good player, don't get me wrong. But I think, we go with Lundstrom and Sterling in front of the back four, and we tell Sterling, you sit on McGregor, you stop McGregor. Because if you stop Callum McGregor, you stop Celtic. Celtic don't function without Callum McGregor. They genuinely don't. And that, for me, is a job for Dujon Sterling. I do think that, putting him in there alongside John Lundstrom, I genuinely think will help shut down McGregor. And I said, you've got to make sure that you detail somebody for him, and detail someone to play in there and really sit on him and really get after him and make his life as uncomfortable as possible. Callum McGregor is not the class act that they make him out to be. He genuinely isn't. He really is, a very average player when he's under pressure. He doesn't really deliver when he's under pressure. So for me, that is absolutely key in terms of getting after them and putting them under pressure. It really is. And I think Dujon Sterling, if fit, obviously could have a huge role to play. Now, look, we've got to kind of wait until Big Phil has spoken to the media to find out who is available, who is fit, who can play, who can't play, etc. Obviously there's doubts over Kemar Roof again. What is going on with Roof? Where is he at with his recovery? Is he fit? Is he not fit? Now, apparently he wasn't injured. That's not why he was left out of the squad against Hibs. It's just that he wasn't able to play 90 minutes. He wasn't able to play for the full 90, so they didn't include him, which to me seems a bit of a surprise, because I think, you can still bring him on. So I don't really get that one. So look, but I trust Big Phil. I really, really do genuinely trust Big Phil to get this right. At the end of the day, it is down to him, and he will make the best possible choice in team for us to get the result on Sunday. Look, we all have players we like, we don't like. We all have opinions on the game. We all have strong opinions on the game, don't we? That's just what football is, and that's the beauty of football. And luckily, a lot of you, have that way to constructively disagree, and we all try and constructively disagree. And there's those people who just genuinely can't constructively disagree and result to insults and genuinely just being very, very obnoxious about it. But at the end of the day, we've got to trust Big Phil. We've got to trust him to get this right. We really, really genuinely do. He is, for me, just the main man. He is quality. He is the man who knows how to get the best out of this Rangers team. Guys, if you can, obviously, please smash that like. We've got 41 people watching at this moment in time. And if you're picking up the video at a later date, obviously, please make sure that you're smashing the like and obviously smashing the sub as well. That would be absolutely fabulous if you could. Right, before we carry on talking, before I carry on waffling on, let's get some of your comments. They hate being put under pressure, constant pressure, and they will crumble. I truly believe that. Philippe, I agree with you. Gallant Pioneer says in the live chat, he says, I would love Beale to do an interview and actually tell us what his game plan and tactics were that last day of September. He gave Celtic the freedom of Ibrox. Absolutely spot on. He did. He never put them under pressure. He let them play. He seemed to be to pump the ball along to Cyril Dessers to run after, who at that point had very little pace. So what was the point? Give us 3 points if the Dundee game is off. Agreed, Stephen. I think that's something they will need to look at. Right in their face, absolutely. Evening troops, even Stephen, exactly. I mean, right from the off, get a few tackles, fair ones on their 3 injured players, and we've got them. Septic, always cheated, never defeated, absolutely. McGregor, average at best. Same with the defense, especially defending. Agree in the past, 100%. Goldson needs to be switched on this game. He does need to be switched on. He doesn't need to do any more mistakes where he leaves, players to run in behind him, which he's done 4 times this season. Got to agree, Owen Sterling to be played wide right with Canwell taking McGregor. That's an interesting thought. Stuart, 100%. Matthew says, we also need to watch our high line. They're fast. They are. So does Tav. Stuart, absolutely. I mean, have you noticed Clement likes to have the team very high up the pitch, especially for corners and stuff? We've been caught out a few times, and it cost us against Benfica. I'm sure that will be something he is planning for, for the game, Gallant. I really think, he is a very wise guy. He does know how to plan. He does know how to work around these things. I want to see Silva instead of Dessers. You can't trust Dessers in front of goal, says Stephen Moorhead. Absolutely. Well, that's fine. That's fair enough, Stephen. I'm not going to comment. If McGregor is fit, then Campbell will mark him, so he dispossesses him further up the park, says Blue Nose John. Yep, the Rangers are coming to get you, says James Cochran. Rangers must be awarded a 3-0 win in the Dundee scenario, says Blue Nose John. I agree, buddy. I think there is a need for something to be done if that game is postponed yet again. Like I said, there is lots of games around Scotland where there is an awful lot of rain and the game ends up going ahead. And so it's a disgrace when the game, is being cancelled. How do we stop that weak Kyogo versus Goldson? I think Suter's got a big role to play in that, and the fullbacks have got to cover round. But it's not just those. The 2 in front of the back 4 have also got to act to shield as well, CJ and I. Right, so let's have a look. This is my team for the game against Celtic. This is how I would line up. And a lot obviously depends on Rid van Yilmaz being fit. Hopefully, there's good news on that front. I really, really genuinely worry about Borna Barisic versus Celtic, just because in the past he's always kind of had a bit of a wobble when it comes to playing against Celtic. He often has a switch off, doesn't he, or a mad moment, and they will always exploit it. So for me, there's got to be an element there that we do really genuinely hope that Rid van Yilmaz is back, is fit, and he's good to go. And Ridvan's been absolutely brilliant, hasn't he, since the turn of the year? Has been absolutely superb since the turn of the year. at left back. And so that's why, for me, Ridvan Yilmaz has to play. So look at a few comments before we get back to it. Thank you, Matthew. CJ, we've got here, Jimmy says, CJ, we win the midfield battle, then we win the match, says Jimmy. Absolutely. Gallant says, wouldn't surprise me if we start Dessers. Gallant, it wouldn't surprise me either. Unfortunately, that I do think that, that he's kind of all we've got at the moment, which is a bit of a worry. This is my team for what it's worth, and I'll talk you through it, and I'll talk you through why I've gone with this lineup. So Jack Butland in goal obviously picks himself. He's the best goalkeeper in Scotland. He's one of the best goalkeepers in Britain. He's the best English goalkeeper out. So again, I'm going with Jack Butland in goal. Back four, I'm keeping the back. Look, this back four for me has been the successful back four this season. No matter what we think of Tav, we think of Goldson, we think of Suter, we think of Ridvan. So we've got obviously James Tavernier at right back. Now, Tav's got to be careful in this game. He really does, in terms of when he's getting forward, that he doesn't allow their wingers in behind him. He's really got to track that. But I think, he's also in a position where when he's in the position to deliver, whether it's a set piece, whether it's a from out wide, he's got to deliver and be spot on and not hit the first man. His delivery from set pieces, apart of not the goals I'm talking about here, I'm talking about some of his corners and some of his free kicks into the box for the players, have not been good enough this season. They really have been poor. So, he does need to make sure that they're of the highest order, and he's got to watch defensively. I think that is one thing that is absolutely key. Goldson and Suter, I think, will be the centre-back pairing, because that does seem at this moment in time to be Big Phil's favourite centre-back pairing, and I think, like you said and we've all said, they've got to watch the runners in behind them. They've got to watch Kyogo getting in behind them, O'Reilly getting in behind them. They've got to watch people running off their shoulders. They really genuinely do. Ridvan, for me, has to start if fit at left back. I think that is definitely the case. Ridvan is good going forward. He's good coming back. He just provides something. And he to me, he is a class act. He's an absolute class act. I'd put Sterling and Lundstrom in front of the back four, just because I know Dujon's done a job on the wing, and I know he's done a job, in a number of positions. But that, for me, is his best position. He's a warrior there. And one thing they don't like is the fact that he will run through them. He will get stuck into them. He will fight them and battle them every inch of the way. So that's why I'm putting Dujon in there alongside Johnny Lundstrom. Johnny Lundstrom is, I think, he's been class. He seems to have got a bit of that fitness back. I think he'd lost it before the international break. I think he's used the international break wisely to get back. So, I think that is an absolute must. Ross McCausland starts on the right wing for me, just because, if you put Sterling into that defensive role, what else have you got out there? For me, Ross, you cannot, under any circumstances, please, Big Phil, do not start Scott Wright on the right wing in the Old Firm. I just genuinely do worry if we ever ever start with him again. I just don't know why he gets started. Little wee Ross he's direct, he's attacking, and he gets this. He really does get the Old Firm, doesn't he? He's Rangers to the core. I'm sure he hates Celtic. He'll understand what's expected in an Old Firm game. So for me is why I'm starting in there. Todd Cantwell, I think, has to start in the 10 role. He was very good against Hibs. He was my man of the match by an absolute mile. No one came close to Todd in that game. He leads the press, which he'll have to do against them. He creates chances. He unlocks doors. And like a lot of you have said, it's time for him to stand up in the Old Firm and be counted. Now, some of you are raising doubts about Abdallah Sima playing. And I understand that. But Abdallah, I think, hopefully can give us, say, 45, 50, 60 minutes. He is just a top talent, and you've got to have your best talents on the park. And he's the one player that when it falls to him in the box or when he gets through one-on-one, you back him 99.9% of the time to put the ball in the back of the net. So that's why I'm giving Abdallah a start on the left wing. You can always bring him off in the second half, put somebody else on there, like Tom Lawrence, or switch Ross McCausland, or put Dujon out there, bring Diamande on, or vice versa. I'm going with Silva up top. I know a lot of you don't like Silva as a 9, but I think if you play a number 9 that, like Dessers, who's just going to stand up there against Carter Vickers, you're going to play right into their hands. If you get someone who's going to stand up there and stand on Carter Vickers like Dessers will do, that will play straight into their hands. And I think having a more mobile, more, kind of Liverpool-esque forward. Liverpool don't play with an out-and-out forward. They, if you look at how Mane played there, or Salah, or Firmino, or Gakpo do, they move all over. They don't stay in one place. They drop back, they link, they go out wide, they drag defenders out to create spaces for midfield runners. And that's kind of what Klopp has specialised in Liverpool. And I think Silva can kind of do that for Rangers as well. Be more mobile up there, open different gaps, move around. I think personally, the more you move Carter Vickers round, the worse he looks. If you just go up and play alongside him and try and out-muscle him and out-battle him, which Dessers will do, he'll lose because Carter Vickers, whether we like it or not, and I don't like him, is a very good defender. So that's why I'm going with Silva up top. I just think his movement, his ability to, to really move that back four around will be absolutely key for me on Sunday. Look, I fully expect to be 100% wrong. When it comes to the starting lineup, I often am. Big Phil will no doubt spring some surprises. Let's have a look at your comments now. Can't keep slagging off Dessers when Roof is constantly injured, as well as Danilo. Dessers is contributing goals, says Stuart. Guys, I'm not going to talk about Cyril Dessers anymore. I'm just going to comment on what he does, and that's it. I'm assuming Sterling at left back. My front four is Silva, Dessers, and Seamer. Seamer on the right will rip Taylor to bits. I certainly hope so, Stephen. If everyone is on their game, we will win. Absolutely. Jimmy's gone for Butland, Tav, Goldson, Ridvan, Lundstrom, Diamante. I think you forgot a defender there, mate. Diamande, Cantwell, Seamer, Sterling, and Dessers up top. Absolutely. Matthew's agreeing with Stephen. We've got Stuart says here, Seamer was out for ages. I'm not sure he'd be starting. Yeah, like I said, Stuart, I think it's just about giving him 50 minutes, an hour, and then taking him off. I just think that he can, get a little bit more. We can get a little bit more out of him. He is a class act. And like I said, I fully expect him to be able to finish if a chance falls to him, which is one of the things we need to do. If you look at that defeat at Parkhead that we had, why didn't we win? We weren't taking our chances. Why didn't we beat Benfica? Because, again, we didn't take our chances. So that's why I've kind of gone for that more, attacking lineup with Seamer in there, because I do trust Seamer to take chances when they fall to him. I don't trust some players in our team to take chances when they fall to him. CJ and I hope you're wrong. I really don't. Please, Scott Wright, I don't understand why he starts. I genuinely don't. Matthew says McCausland's a bit iffy. He might be, Matthew, but what's the alternative? Scott Wright? Who would you rather start out there? Scott Wright or then McCausland is terrible at getting back. Scott Wright has been playing well. I don't agree with that, Stuart, but that's fair enough. That's your opinion. You're entitled to that. That's fine opinion. Have I missed something? Is Diamande injured? No, he's not injured. I've just gone with Sterling in there because I just think he provides a little bit extra. CJ think Big Phil will play Sterling wide right to combat Maeda. That's an interesting thought. He does often set his team up, doesn't he, to combat the opposition, and that's something that that he does do. Big Phil is very cautious with players returning from injury, so I don't see him starting. Seamer says Blue Nose John. One of my favourite Rangers quotes, when I play like a soldier going into battle, my teammates are my comrades and we will never give up no matter the opposition. That's a fantastic quote, Philly. Let's hope the boys take that to heart on Sunday. Wherever he plays, Jimmy, Sterling was made for this match. Absolutely, I agree. Sterling is made for this match. And for me, Sterling has to start. Are you right, CJ? The boys got to play. Stop McGregor and we win the game, which is what I was saying. I don't think McGregor will play. So there is often doubts over Callum McGregor and him playing. And they said Conor McGregor there. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? On a cage fighter playing football. Anyway, yes, I think, Sterling for me, I think will have a very important role no matter where he plays on Sunday, whether he plays in that defensive midfield role for stopping McGregor or for shielding the back four against the runners like Kyogo and O'Reilly, or whether he plays out wide right and helps Tav defensively with Maeda. I think that there is a whole range of positions that he can play in. I do think and I do hope that he does play. I think one of the biggest things for me, Stephen, that would be brilliant. I'd love it to happen. I can't see it, but I would love it to happen. One of the biggest things for me is we've got to get Ridvan fit. Ridvan has to be fit for this game. Look, I know some people out there like Borna, and look, I'm not saying that Borna's been terrible throughout his entire time at Rangers. He's been a good servant for the club. I'm not saying that for a moment, but what I am saying is that against them, he often has let us down. He really genuinely has. So for me, it is a major worry. And I really hope that Ridvan is fit and able to play. I genuinely do hope that he is fit and able to play. Blue Nose John says, can I have a team of 11 Dujon Sterlings? Perhaps 10 Dujon Sterlings and 1 Jack Butland, Blue Nose John. That would be an awesome team, wouldn't it? In your face, battling, fighting, and then obviously with a great goalkeeper at the back to keep it tight. I don't want to see Wright ever again, but he's getting time on Sunday, says Stuart. I think that is the problem, Stuart. I personally don't rate Scott Wright. I just don't think he's good enough for Rangers. I don't think he's good enough for the Old Firm game either. We shouldn't be playing anymore who isn't 100% fit, says Stuart. Evening troops, we are the people, says Vincent. Evening, buddy. How are you doing tonight on this fine Thursday night, building up towards the Old Firm game? Look, we look at what we've got. I mean, this is a must-win, guys, an absolute must-win. I think what we've got to consider going into that game is, if we do win this game on Sunday, look, we've got to say I don't think we can be overconfident. I think being overconfident is the worst thing you can do, because the overconfidence breeds complacency. Complacency then obviously often leads to failure. So I do think that there's got to be an element of, a little bit of element of, let's hope that we can win this game. If we play to our very best, I can't see a reason why we cannot win this game. Thank you, Philippe, for that. So look at the league table. We win on Sunday, we go to 76 points, 2 points above them with a game in hand. Win the game in hand, 5 points clear. 5 points clear. And look, I know there's a counting your chickens before they've hatched. I know it's one game at a time. But if we go 5 points clear, then we can go to Parkhead and know that a draw is enough to win the title. Because, like I said, this is a team that is capable of winning the rest of these games. It genuinely isn't. I do genuinely think that this is a team that is more. It's not a great team. It's not a great Rangers team. It doesn't compare to some of the title-winning teams of the past. It does in terms of heart and spirit and the way it's fought back from being in a genuinely bad position where the league was pretty much over. But in terms of ability and talent and quality of players, I don't think it is. And I think David Edgar was right with that comment that he made a few months ago, where he said, whichever one of the two Old Firm teams win the league this season, it'll probably be the weakest. They'll be the weakest league champions in a long time. Scott says, say what you want about Dessers, but if he's brought on as a sub, I believe he will become a hero after missing 20 sitters, of course. Look, Scott, I've always said, look, I have criticised Dessers in the past, but go back and look at some of the videos. I have actually said in a lot of the videos he's better coming on as a sub than he is as a starter. And most of his goals he got for Feyenoord in the Europa League actually came when he came off the bench. Are Suter and Goldson good enough to shut out Kyogo? He always seems to get the better of Goldson. He does, and I think, he did to some degree of Balogun, didn't he, as well? So there is a worry there that, have we got the talent there? But I think John Suter has improved massively this season. He's been one of our better players. I think we've got to give him the time, and we've got to give him, the trust to go out there and do it on Sunday. That's massive. Stephen says, as long as we win, that's all that matters. Agree 100%, Stephen, with that sentiment. As long as we win, that is all that matters. Guys, please obviously smash that like. 50 of you watching at the moment, if you can all smash the like, that would be absolutely fabulous. Just a reminder again, if you are on Twitter, check out our brand new Twitter page. Twitter, it is Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called these days. Glasgow Rangers Nation at Rangers Nation 08. This is our brand new home on X after I shut down the previous account due to excessive trolling and abuse. So please obviously check that one out. Now, what's upcoming for the rest of this week? Robert says that Dessers will start on Sunday. There's probably a good chance that he will, Robert. He probably will start on Sunday. And, look, all the best. Hope he does well. But look, look, at the end of the day, we all want whoever is picked, whichever 11 is picked on Sunday, that they all go out there and they all do their very, very best, and they all, play to the fullest of their abilities, and they come away with a win. Like Philippe Clement has spoken about on a number of occasions, this is about writing our own story, writing a historic story, writing a story to be remembered, and it will be a story to be remembered. 1.7 points behind them. League was over in October. League was over before Halloween. They were already crowning themselves champions, and we could go go on and win this. So for me, yeah, it is, it is a really, really, really great achievement if we do go on and win. Even if we do win the league, we need to clear out the old guard at the season's end. John, you are spot on. There's a lot of players that need to go and be gone at the end of the season due to the fact there are a lot of very injury-prone players who often sit in the stands and get paid a bugger load of money for doing very, very, very little. And that is slightly irritating and slightly annoying. Alan Austin says here, let's get the game won on Sunday. Give Danilo something to cheer on his birthday. Absolutely, Alan. 100%. I think Dessers will get 60 minutes, then Roof will replace him. I think a lot will depend on whether Philippe Clement includes him in the squad. At the moment, Stephen, nothing on Danilo. I think we're all just kind of waiting for Big Phil's press conference to go off and us to decide. And obviously, with Big Phil, what's going to happen and who's fit, who's going to be ready, and who's going to be good to go. I do think, that is a lot to depend on. Even if Danilo's fit, I can't see him playing on Sunday at all. But if he does, he'll be on the bench. He might get 10, 15 minutes max. I think it's just too big a risk in so big a game to throw someone in who hasn't played in such a long time. Okay, guys, let's have a little look at what's upcoming this week for the rest of this week. Obviously, remember, there will be daily news and opinion videos, guys. As always, all the content on this channel is free. I don't believe in Patreon. I don't believe in charging fans. Fans should be able to access their team's team's content for free. So for me, that's what it's about. Huge thing for me. So what's upcoming on the channel? So on a Saturday night, there will be a final preview pod for the Old Firm on Sunday. On Sunday, there will be an awful lot of content upcoming on Sunday. There will obviously be a build up to the game. Before the game, there'll be a breaking news team podcast where we'll talk about the team that he's selected and build up to that. And then obviously as well, there will be the game live streamed here on the channel on Sunday. So please come and join me for that live stream. I haven't live streamed in a while due to work commitments, so it'd be great to have as many of you there as possible on Sunday to help us cheer on the boys. Stringfellow Hawk, I used to love that program. Airwolf. What a program. The big conspiracy by Celtic fans, yet Beaton has given them more penalties. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like I said the other day, we've got to stop talking about referees. We've got to do something about this. The games are not being talked about because of the refereeing appointments and who the ref is. It's got to be on what the players do. And that for me is the biggest thing. Jimmy says, this is the strongest team and bench you've had in a long time. Agreed. It's your passion for Rangers that drives you own. That's what I love most about this channel. Thank you very much, Gallant. That's brilliant to hear. Thank you, Big Phil. Gallant says, we've only had one penalty at Ibrox against them since 2007. Correct. Have I got the full weekend off work, Owen? No, I haven't, buddy. I'm working 6 in the morning to 1 on the Saturday. Then from 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, I am off then until Monday morning. So yeah, I will be off, bringing you as much content as possible Saturday night, Sunday, all Old Firm, bringing you all the Old Firm stuff in the build-up to the big day on Sunday. Please, obviously, come and join me for all those things. Guys, thank you for watching the pod this evening. It was good to get back in touch with you all. Are you having a beer for the game? I will be having a beer for the game, buddy. Yes, of course, we're having a beer. We always have a beer for the Old Firm game, guys. It's kind of the law. Dessers will unfortunately start all we have for 60-odd minutes. Roof will come on and score for the winner, Rangers 2-1. Always a sunny day, Buster. I would love him to do that. Feel sorry for Beaton. He can't win if he get... Absolutely, I agree, 100%. Agree, Stringfellow Hawk. He can't win. If there's a stonewall penalty to us and it's given, he will get dog's abuse from Celtic fans. Stephen says, this ref stuff will come back to hit them in the puss, just like the time they bounced a coin off Hugh Dallas's heed. Hopefully, Stephen. What have we got? Time to recover your own. Absolutely, Blue Nose John. CJ and I says he's got 18 Corona in the fridge already. Lol. CJ, I'm coming around your house to do it. I'm coming around your house to do the stream, buddy. Tavernier, sorry, to score the winner, says Stuart. Let's hope so, Stuart. Guys, remember, please, can you smash the like for me? And if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching tonight's pod, guys. Been a great getting back in touch with you all, talking to you all about tonight, about the game. Please, obviously, on the way, smash the like. And remember, always, we are the people.